Trusting God without proof of where God is taking you takes faith. It takes gut and all out determination. Because let's be serious. God says, I have a place for you that your seed will not have to beg. Okay. Your place that God has for you is destined for greatness. But how can you believe that you're destined for greatness when you're struggling in your right now life, when you're struggling mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you're going through right now, it can be very hard to trust that God is taking you to a place that eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, and all you can see right now is chaos. Hi, I'm Genesis Wells, and in today's video, we're going to talk about how to trust God even when things seem shaky and how to identify the attacks of the enemy that try to knock you off your path. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. So, y'all, I'm not even gonna lie. I have struggled with my faith in God in many situations, and in many situations, God literally brought me out. So you would wonder, like, dang, why would you keep having unfaith in somebody that constantly shows up for you? May not be how you want God to show up, may not be how you need God to show up, and it may not be when, but the gag is God is going to bring you out every single time. God never misses, okay? And the gag is a lot of the times God be keeping us in these situations because we need to birth something out of the situation. We need to see something about ourselves. We need to see something about other people. We need to see something about the situation. Maybe God is like, dang, you keep asking for X, Y, and Z, but do you really want X, Y, and Z? Or do you want the whole alphabet? Okay? Because God be having them plans that be making yourself look like little fish. Yeah. God be having them plans that really be eating. Okay, God be eating us up with his plans. And yet we constantly find ourselves in a place of questioning God, of believing that we're not worthy, of having, disbelief. Because again, it brings us back to the current circumstance. People believe what they see. And when God doesn't show up how people want them to, they tend to take that as, oh, God isn't for me. Oh, God doesn't have my back. God isn't showing up for me. When all reality, God is just waiting on you to become the person that he can do a work through. You feel what I'm saying? Let's have a little story time, y'all. Let me let y'all into a little piece of my life, y'all. It's finna get ghetto. Can't believe I'm finna say it, but period. It's whatever I'm gonna say is meant to help people. So it's time to be vulnerable and talk about it. So story time, girl, get your chips, get your drink, because it's finna get a little ghetto, okay? About how I went to jail and God kept me through this whole ordeal. So y'all, your girl was in the military, okay? And if you know about military life, like when you get in trouble in the military, it's not like how you get in trouble in everyday like work life. Like for example, like you can quit your day job and say, I don't want to do this no more, and go on, and the police ain't gonna come looking for you. You quit the military, you going to prison. AWOL. So me and a certain sergeant, okay, which means she was a higher rank than I was, got into a little squabble, okay? And that squabble ended me in jail for 2 weeks. Now, when you go and get in trouble in the military, you go through like what they call the Article 15. And that is when you have to stand in front of like your commanding officers and basically plead them cases not to drag you through the mud. Okay. So what I was facing was 20 years, a dishonorable, like so many things. Like they really could have did it to me if they wanted to. Mind you, I was 6 months pregnant with my daughter at the time. But God, okay? I ended up not having to, I only had to do 2 weeks worth of jail, which, girl, was my first experience. And if y'all want a story time on that, drop it in the comments. But I only had to do 2 weeks, and I kept all of like my rankings. I did not get no dishonorable. Like God truly held it down through that experience. And it's like when I was going through the situation, I could have been like, oh my God, they can drag me through the mud. I'm pregnant. I'm going to have to give birth in jail, yada, yada, yada. Like, I can't believe this. But the whole time, God was touching the commanding officers' hearts to be lenient on the situation. Oh, y'all, I wasn't the only one that got in trouble. Oh, girl got hers too. Okay, she got in trouble too. But God was touching hearts in the midst of the situation, in the midst of what was happening, in the midst of chaos. And if you would have asked me when I was sitting there talking to, my JAG officers, like, about how I'm going to get that through that situation, the JAG officers, which are attorneys in the military world, they was going to tell me like, oh yeah, there's no way you're going to make it through this. Yep, you've messed up. You done punched the NCO. Yep, you're done. And that's the gag. God can touch places in people's hearts that man can't touch. God can direct thoughts. God can soften hearts. Okay, God has the final say each and every time. And what the enemy tries to do is tries to play mind games with you to misdirect your attention away from God. So let's talk about these spiritual attacks that the enemy trying to push into our lives. So what is a spiritual attack? To me, a spiritual attack is when the devil uses his minions to attack you in all aspects of your life. For example, I see myself as a teacher, a healer. So God will attack me mostly in my thoughts, in my heart, because that's where I'm most effective at. If you're a person that likes to get money, right? The devil will use, tactics to break down your money, to stop your money flow, to make. So the devil will come after your money and, how your money flows to you, how you think about your money. He'll start saying, well, maybe your money not going to flow this week. Maybe your money won't. Maybe you've reached the end of your road. Just give up on this stream. Okay, just give up on this money. Just do this. Just do that. Whatever the devil can do to block you from reaching that next level, from reaching the potential, from reaching that place God has for you. And it's crazy because you'll think the whole time that, oh, wait a minute, this has been placed on my heart. Yeah, you're right. Like, the devil is a smooth criminal, y'all. Like, the devil knows how to talk that talk to make it sound so good. Like, yeah, you're right. This isn't for me. Or, yeah, this isn't my right path. Like, the devil will really have you questioning your worth, your place in God. And that is nothing but an attack because, again, the enemy is sneaky and manipulative. He doesn't want to see you basking in that life that God has for you. So he will use any tactic to keep you stuck and stagnant where you are. The devil will also use people. Okay, yes, these monitoring spirits. Let's talk about it. The devil will use people who are showing up as somebody, but behind that mask, they really are of the work of the enemy. Yes, there are people, just like we have people who are in the army of the Lord, who live for God, who live for the righteousness. There are also people who like to dabble in the low vibrational things of this earth. They don't mind doing voodoo. They don't mind doing witchcraft. They don't mind casting spells on you. They don't mind, doing whatever weird stuff they do, putting stuff in your food so that you can have warfare, spiritual warfare. So that's why it's important to stand in God, stand with God, and spend time in God's word, because God be speaking to you, through you, in you. Okay, God speaks to us. God is in each and every one of us. So God is speaking to us. And when we let outside forces penetrate what God has said about us in our lives, girl, sir, that's when the devil is most active, because now he has space to work. Now he has space to plant those inaccuracies in your life. And I rebuke that for you if you're going through that in your life right now, because the gag is God also has the final say. So be aware of who you are listening to. Be aware of what that person is pouring into you, and be aware of who you are consuming from. Okay, period. Because not everybody is of God. Not everybody has your best intentions at heart. And that's why, the devil fights so hard. Because when you listen to God and when you stand firm in what God says about you, God can do amazing things in your life. I myself have been battling so hard with putting myself out there, with believing in myself, with just trust in the process with God. And the devil will say like, oh, don't post the video. No, it's not good enough. You're not like that content creator, so don't do it. Yeah, there's already somebody already talking about that. You don't got to worry about posting that video. But the devil is a lie, and the devil can't have me, and the devil can't have you either. So if you have an idea, if you have something God has placed in your heart to do, to write, to sing, to create, go forth on that path, okay? Make those steps towards what God has said to you for you to do, because you have a purpose on this earth. Don't let the devil trick you into thinking that it's a little fish. No, anything of God is big fish, okay? I love you guys. I'm so proud of you. And drop your ideas in the comment section. Let's create together. Let's connect because God is raising up a standard. And whatever you do, just know I'm going to support it. Okay? I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great Sunday and stand firm in your power. And yeah, that's all I have for y'all today. But for real, I love you guys and I wish you the best, okay? If you have any suggestions, any comments, any concerns, drop it in the comment section below. If you don't feel comfortable with people reading your comment or you feel a bit nervous because you don't want people to know you're the one asking, I will have an NGL link in my in my description box. And it's basically like where you can send an anonymous letter, an anonymous tip, anonymous question. You won't know. People won't know who sent it. I won't know who sent it. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I love you. Mwah. Be great. And remember what God said about you and go ahead and get on that. All right. Bye.